Plaintiff Daryl Broude says he was encouraged to work for the defendant, and while doing so, the defendant stole his tools. A few years later, Daryl claims the defendant came out of nowhere and sucker punched him. So he's suing for dental costs and pain and suffering. Defendant Kenneth Novak says Daryl is nothing but a drug addict, and that's why Kenneth and his wife took custody of Daryl's son after his wife passed away. Kenneth insists he never punched Daryl, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
I met the defendant approximately 10 years ago via my late ex-wife's best friend. Once I realized that the house was a big party house for my ex-wife, and I didn't like the guy. Actually, it just started out a big battle. Unfortunately, I was encouraged to do some work for him. Ended up with that. He stole my tools. So it started this huge battle back and forth with a lot of text messages, a few phone calls.
And since then, what has been happening with the two of you?
Well, I've actually... I went through a few things with her passing 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Went through depression, lost a lot of things. Mm-hmm. In the process, we had my son was transferred to another location with a sister now. And so actually at the time of our this lawsuit on June 12th, 2018, I was actually in Lowell, in his hometown, looking at an apartment. Ended up at a gas station on the phone with my son, who was in the house behind the Speedway at his house. And my son came around the corner, and I said, hey, I can buy you some candy. We went up into the candy aisle. I'm sitting there looking at candy. All of a sudden, I thought the ceiling fell down. And I didn't know what actually happened, and I got clobbered from the back.
Let me allow him first to talk about when you all met and whether he stole your tools. Sir, you want to tell me about that?
Never stole anybody's tools. I got more tools than he could ever afford in his life. I never had friendship with him. He ain't nothing but a drug addict, and I don't associate with him. Don't need him in my life.
What type of drugs do you know of him to be addicted to?
Apparently he does heroin and cocaine, which he lost his custody of his kid because of cocaine, testing positive on cocaine when he's on probation. And he didn't live with his wife when she passed. My wife was taking care of his wife when she passed, and we got the boy when she died. And he had court orders not to have no unvisitized visitations.
No unsupervised visitations.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And he was on probation in Illinois and was not supposed to leave Illinois at the time.
I've never done heroin. I've used cocaine, I've drank, I've smoked pot, but those days are gone.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
You should have stopped the boy instead of playing police. You should have said, come on, young man. Instead, you said, I'm the captain now. You got a warrant on you.
That's not the case, Your Honor.
I don't know how you... Oh, yeah, you're right. He said you hit him.
Follow me on Facebook.